Hey guys, it's Kim here with Fairily Fiber Fun. Welcome to another blending board video. Today we are going to take a fall inspired colorway and turn it into fun Rolags for a future fractal spin. So while I am getting all of my supplies together and figuring out what I want to put in to these Rolags, separating out the fibers, all of that, getting ready, I would like to give a very warm welcome to new viewers and a welcome back to returning viewers. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss new videos as they come out. And as always, leave your comments, questions, and suggestions in the comment section below. The wool base is 100% Corriedale, and I am adding bamboo, sari silk, like recycled sari silk, and sparkly Angelina and Firestar. So the idea is to take a compressed, sort of bland braid of fiber and spice it up a bit. And I'm actually thinking that, well, the finished Rolags, which you will see at the end, make me think of spiced pumpkin, like cinnamon rolls. Is that even a thing? Does that exist? If it doesn't, somebody needs to come up with that because that just sounds so incredibly yummy. Anyway, I am taking the braid, which is a gradient, and I'm breaking it into its basic, I think there are four colors in the gradient, or distinct colors, and separating those out by 4, each one of those, splitting them into 4 sections because I'm going to make 4 sets of Rolags since my blending board can only hold about 1 ounce of fiber at a time and the braid is 4 ounces. So I am making 4 sets of Rolags. And I am not keeping it as a gradient, although I am paying homage to the gradient. But see, this is one of the fun things you can do if you have a blending board or a drum carder, because you can do the same thing on a drum carder, it just holds a lot more. You can change up the order of the colors to whatever suits your fancy. And I love that concept. It's one of the reasons I like working with gradient dyed braids, because you can do so many cool things with them. I don't like spinning up straight gradients very often. They do have their place, and I'm actually planning a project with a gradient hand spun yarn that I'm currently spinning. But that's not normal for me. As is the general rule for successful blending board use, I lay a thin layer. You might want to make sure your burnishing brush is clean when you do this, by the way. I lay a thin layer of wool down into the bottom of the fabric of the blending board to provide a barrier between the board itself, or the fabric, the cloth that holds all the tines, and the fun add-ins that don't come out of the fiber, that don't come out of the blending board cloth very easily. Boy, was that hard to say while I was watching what I was doing. So things like bamboo, which are very slippery and very fine, and silk, and especially sari silk, and sparkles, and anything with texture to it, those are going to want to stick to into the bottom of the carding cloth. And if you provide a layer of wool down there first, the wool comes out very easily because it's a longer staple. Just means that each of the fibers is longer than the little soft fine add-ins. So the thinner your layer is, it has to cover the whole board. But the thinner it is, the more your add-ins show up in the Rolags. So In this case, I experimented and I was like, why do multiple layers? I'm just going to put the add-ins all in one place and then fill up the board with wool. So that's what I did. And I'm actually very, very happy with how the Rolags turned out. But we will see when I spin them how well I like the spinning. It should be fairly well blended together, you know. So as I put in a layer of add-ins, the first layer in this instance was bamboo, and then I did some sparkles. And now I'm doing the short texture bits of the sari silk because that's a lot of fun and it comes in all these different colors and it's just absolutely amazing and fantastic. And lots of times I struggle to find sari silk that has been dyed in different colors, or I just have trouble finding it in different colors. So the order you put these in doesn't matter so much as making sure that you're distributing everything fairly evenly, unless you want a textural gradient and whatever it is you're wanting to do. I'm trying to get everything fairly consistent all the way across the entirety of this blending board so that my Rolags are all fairly consistent. They're never going to be 100% perfect because I'm not perfect and I don't make perfect Rolags. That's just the truth. And I have embraced the imperfections because it is impossible to be 100% perfect. If somebody else can make the most perfect Rolags, then kudos to you. But I am not, no matter how hard I try and stress, I am not able to do it, and it's not worth the headaches that come after the attempt. So I just quit stressing over it. And the thing I stress over is getting the board evenly filled. And that is very hard to do when you are separating out the colors like this. Making sure to overlap each color makes a big difference. When I'm through and I've run out of all but one color, then the last color just kind of goes in wherever I have a thin spot. And that's not always what I want to do, but in order to keep the Rolags from falling apart, sometimes that's the only thing you can do. So I'm just doing my best with what I've got, and I'm not being very scientific because that's not my way. I do things by feel instead of weighing out my fiber and doing calculations and thinking, oh, well, I need this percentage of the board filled with this particular color because that's what I have the most of. I don't do that. I just look at what I've got and go, yeah, I think I'll do it this way. Sometimes I'm wrong and sometimes I'm right, and I just do the best I can with what I've got. And when I mess up royally, I spin the results. So there you have it. When I make everything right, you'll see I'm taking the dark brown and just kind of filling in low spots so that the Rolags are not fat on one end and skinny on the other. Yeah. Burnishing frequently helps you to see all those thin spots, and so you can fill them in. And I don't know what else to say about this. See, that's not supposed to have brown in it. I had more brown than I realized, so it's going in the orange. No biggie. It's going to make beautiful yarn. So now that I am finished putting all of this 1 ounce of wool on here with some extras in the silk and bamboo and fire star that weighs almost nothing, now it is time to make the Rolags. And that is, I would say it's my favorite part, but I think loading up the board is my favorite part. I do like to see the Rolags when they come off. I like to see how the colors, how the fibers draft, and then what you see on the outside of the Rolags versus what you're seeing on the board. And it's always a game to see how consistent each Rolag is, as in how much I pull off the board in each Rolag? Can I make it really consistent between the 4 of them, or is one going to be super fat and one really skinny? That happens a lot. And if I had a thin spot, then the one of the Rolags may fall apart. And then how neat and pretty can I make the last one look without rolling it too tight? It's all a little game to me. But it's fun and I enjoy it. And these Rolags turned out so gorgeous. It's a huge improvement on the original braid, even though that was super pretty too. And I'm very, very excited to spin this up as a fractal spin. I hope you will join me for that video coming up next month. So yeah, I thank you for joining me on today's blending board video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.